Okay, we walked back across the dam, just ready to head up to the Flume Trail, and here's an informative sign, talks about Sheridan Lake. So I'll put the camera on there for a second if you're interested. So we're going to head up the hill through the trees right up here behind us and head up to the trail and then go back along the Flume Trail, which sits above, oh, probably 100 feet above the stream bed that we came in on. And then it goes down to the, right down to the area where the little parking lot is, and then we just walk down the hill on a trail across the creek and we're done. So let's take a look.
Let's wait 5 minutes and just look at the water.
Well, we're up on the other side of the canyon, coming up on the side of the hill, and we're still picking up elevation, so we haven't crossed the actual Flume Trail yet, which came in from probably the south, what would be the southwest corner of Sheridan Lake, and then they picked a grade across the slopes up here. So this is pretty amazing. Country outcrops are just gorgeous up here. So here we are on the hillside up above Spring Creek. We're probably 100 feet above, and notice all the moss back here. So, you know, as I said in an earlier video, that one of the really unique things about the Black Hills is there are springs everywhere. The hills are really a pretty wet and damp environment. And so this just goes to show, you know, that you got this moss covering the rocks all through this area in here for at least 100 feet along this trail. You know, I'm seeing moss on the rocks and up on the hillside in there. So, you know, if we were here in the springtime, then we would see marshy, wet, and probably even flowing water. So here's a plank, part of the old Flume Trail timbers, and we're walking on a stone wall right here. Where the flume sat, you know, on this trail that we're at right now.
Dad,
What?
show them what else I found on the trail.
Found some raspberries.
Oh, raspberries. Really little ones.
But they're delicious.
Yeah, I don't know. Looks like pretty back-breaking work to come in here and carve this trail out and build these walls to put a flume in here. Then it only operated 5 years. So I don't know who funded it and how much it cost, but it must have been pretty tough work coming along up here, beating through these rocks. So it says we're 140 feet above the creek down in the valley. So all these talus slopes here, with all this broken rock on it, is a natural phenomenon. This very, very hard quartzite, and then the very, very competent meta gray wacky that's got silicic materials in it. are very brittle, and they fracture during the stresses that emplace the Black Hills, and prior to that with all the folding and whatnot that happened in these rocks. And then over the millennia, then freeze-thaw action, where water gets down into the fractures, freezes and heaves out and keeps pushing these chunks of rock out until they fall off of the rock face. And then they build in talus slopes below the outcrops. So it's my theory, and I am yet to have proved it, but it's my theory that a majority of these materials sourced directly from the last glacial period, when in the Black Hills, although we did not have active glaciers, there was no ice in the Black Hills, that it's more than likely that we had a paraglacial climate. So very cold climate, a lot of frost, a lot of freeze, and abundant precipitation when it wasn't freezing, that would provide the water to get into the joints, and then freeze-thaw action would continually break this material off. These types of talus slopes that we've walking across right here are extremely common in known paraglacial environments all around the world, and these look very, very similar to those deposits. Here's a very large rock field here, a debris field. It's on a really steep slope. These blocks are very, very angular, with extremely linear faces on them that came off of a nice smooth fracture surface. The slope angles on these rock slopes here are probably around 40 degrees, maybe 45 degrees in places. There's Briggs at the entrance to one of the two tunnels here on this trail. These were redone in recent years and refitted with timbers to make them safe to pass through for people to walk.
Get away from Morgan Mom.
Yep. There's the creek down there. Okay, let's go into the spooky tunnel. So it has mesh on the back and rock bolts on the walls, on the ribs. There's the family rocks. Awesome. Okay, so that's the Flume Trail, and between Sheridan Lake and the old town of Rockerville, built for sluicing water for gold. So we're gonna head on down the trail here, cross Spring Creek, go to the truck, and head to the house. So thanks for watching. See ya.